Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. It is New Year's Eve. I hope everyone has an awesome New Year's tonight. And we're going to be taking tomorrow off just to celebrate the holiday. So I hope you guys all have a great time with your families. In today's video, we're going over 10-ish cards you guys should side deck for the 2020 start off. And I know it said 10-ish. The video title is probably going to say 10. But you know how I do it, guys. Like, I usually just go into like types of cards, sometimes different cards in particular. So I don't really know how to count it up. If you have a suggestion for that, let me know in the comments below, I guess. But we're going to talk about 10 cards you should side deck moving into 2020. Guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Hit that bell so you never miss a video. And guys, we want to see you at the Dalen Mac Tournament of Power. My team is running this tournament. I believe in my team. I believe in this tournament. I think it's going to be the best tournament of the year. Make sure to check that out down in the description below. And finally, guys, if you want to buy any cards we talk about in today's video, make sure you use my link to TCG Player or Beard Collectibles down below. With that being said, we'll hop right into this. So right off the bat, we got Mercenary Towel and Tien Shinhan Returning Fire. Now, if you guys saw in the Dragon Ball Super Community Facebook group, I actually ran a poll to see what the community thought, whether these cards are healthy for the game or not healthy for the game. And by a wide majority, the community said that these cards are necessary for the game. And, you know, love them or hate them, I'm not a huge fan of them, but they are still super strong cards. And moving into the next format, you should be side decking these cards. Tien, of course, is just super insane against Janemba. And really, what's funny is, like, this card seems like it was printed to help people beat Janemba, but Janemba's like the best blue deck that can play around it. But it's also good against your Android 21 matchups, your Android 18 matchups, any other random blue matchups, and even against random red matchups like Frieza Prison or Red Baby. If you just need that extra pressure, don't forget this is a one-drop 15k against those decks. I mean, remember swap decks were broken in the format they were really good in because they had one-drop 15k beaters and they could spam them. So if you take that same philosophy and apply it to Tien against red decks and you need it in that matchup, that's really good. Mercenary Towel, also good against red. I mean, obviously it's good against green and yellow hand control decks. Really, there aren't any yellow ones, but there are green hand control decks in the format like Slug. You don't want to get caught off guard with those. And this card's also relatively good against Topo. If your opponent is playing red and they Topo you, they have lost one card from their hand for the Topo. They put the Topo on board. You attack. If you have Towel on the board, you pitch 2 cards, but they'll warp 3 cards. So overall, you go plus on the differential. And if you have multiple Towels on the board, that's going to trigger multiple times, and the person is going to really regret topoing you. So for those reasons, I think these cards are definite considerations for your sideboard moving into 2020. Next up, we've got Borgos and we've got Yamcha the Cunning. So these cards serve slightly different purposes, but they're kind of similar, so I put them on the same slide. So Borgos, in particular, it's good against any offensive untapping decks. You have Senzu Bean decks, you have your random Soul Striker decks, which you're probably not going to see too much, but really what this card's really good against is Lemon Lime Frieza, which is picking up a lot of popularity lately. And they do have answers to this card, don't get me wrong, and I like how Borgos is designed that way, that you can answer it. But still, putting it out there, it makes it a card they have to answer. So for that reason, I think Borgos is a really good card in this format. Likewise, Borgos and Yamcha both have the similarity. Yamcha doesn't hit leader skills, so it won't hit Golden Frieza, but they both hit offensive untapping decks. So whether it's like Great Apes, you're playing against Bardock Apes, that's going to hit their offensive Senzu Bean plays. And if you can actually put these in against Baby for a few reasons, one of which they both can trip, meaning they both just draw a card. So it gives you good value for playing defense against Baby, which is a pretty aggressive deck. And it punishes them for untapping offensively with Blutz Wave Generator. A lot of the times, the Baby deck needs Blutz Wave Generator in order to fix their hand for their combo, because it is in all essence a combo deck. So they need the combo pieces to do that. And both Borgos and Yamcha the Cunning punish them for trying to play Blutz Wave Generator. So that can be really good for you. If your deck doesn't rely too much on offensive untapping itself, maybe try Yamcha the Cunning, because it just puts more of that floodgate out on the board. But if you need your offensive untap or some other situation, or you really want to hit Golden Frieza, Borgos might be the better pick for you. And of course, there are different types of these cards for each respective color. So I just use those to represent basically the ideas of the cards. Next up, we're talking about mini counterplays. I don't know if these guys have like a nickname dub for them. I mean, of course, we have the main counterplays like Denial of Hope and Preemptive Strike, but I'm calling these guys the mini counterplays for right now. And these cards are really strong. I mean, the fact you can take a life to activate them is really good. People call that the sparking effect, even though it's not technically sparking. All you have to do is be at 4 life or less and have a multicolor charged, and then you can activate these cards by taking a life. And they're just really good in clutch situations. Let's say you're playing red with Beerus Ball. If you have the 2 open for Denial and you have Beerus Ball in hand, and you're at 4 life and have the multicolor charged, that's 2 interruptions. That's 2 counterplays you're able to activate. And Beerus Ball has really good applications even against Baby, which is arguably the best deck going into 2020. You can use this to negate the play of their Baby or rival because it is a 15k or less. But cards like Absolute Release Ball, cards like Focus Breakthrough, you're able to use those to stop really annoying counterplays like Vegeta the Cruel. You're also able to stop Topo, which unfortunately Beerus Ball can't do, but Red has Denial of Hope for that anyway. But Blue, Absolute Release Ball, and Focus Breakthrough for green, really good for stopping Topo and other counterplays as well. I guess you can call these counterplay cards in a way. But yeah, we don't really talk about yellows because yellows is just a Crusher Ball, and it's really not that great. But moving on, we've got Mutaito, Skill of a Sage, and Crusher Ball. So a few things here. Mutaito, I think, is really strong in this format. A lot of decks are cheating things in. The only one that Mutaito will be dead against is something like Android 21 with the 8 drop. This is going to be dead against that because they will actually tap 8 energy to play that. But think about other matchups. Think about Hatchiyak. You're going to be able to tap their boss monster. You're going to be able to tap their dimensional Dark Banisher Fu. Think about Gogeta 7 decks. We're going to have the Piccolo Surge Leader coming in 2020, and that's going to be live against their Gogeta 7. This is live against a lot of things, cheating things in. It's also live against Baby because all their apes are bigger than their energy cost. But likewise, Crusher Ball is still really good as well. Not too many things I mentioned have Deflect. You do have the 8-drop 21 has Deflect, but again, Mutaito's dead against that anyway. You would need something like Chompa the Trickster for that. But same thing, Hatchiyak. And a nice thing about Crusher Ball is that this doesn't have to hit things bigger than the opponent's energy. Unfortunately, it won't hit Gogeta 7, but it will hit other pesky things in the format. Any pesky aggro decks, you can Crusher Ball a well-timed play against Demigra when they use the new Magnificent promo in order to drop a wide board. Crusher Ball hits all those cards. So Crusher Ball definitely has applications. Mutaito has applications. Depending on what your deck is afraid of, depending on what your deck has a bad matchup towards, if you're playing yellow, I would definitely consider both these cards. Next up, Godstrike Beerus. Now, if you're a blue deck that plays Bean, I would strongly recommend this card because I feel like we're in a format right now where you can really catch someone off guard with a card like this. And it could be this, or it could be Saiyan, Bonds, Goku, and Vegeta, the blue-yellow arrival if you're in those colors. But Godstrike Beerus is a much more generic version of that. And even if you're not in blue, even if you don't have Senzu Bean, you can really catch an opponent off guard with this card. Let's say you're playing mono red or red yellow. If you're passive with your energy and keep this up, and your opponent's playing Baby, for example, and they go in with the Heartfelt Plea, maybe you're at 3 life, maybe they combo all the way in, and then you Godstrike it, and you just win from there. Like, they can't really win after that because they've dumped their entire hand. I really think Godstrike Beerus is a good card right now to catch people off guard, so I would recommend considering it in your sideboard if it kind of works with what you're trying to do. Next up, Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan. This card has been a relevant sideboard card for several formats now, and I don't think anything like that is going to change anytime soon. This card has applications in a lot of different matchups. I mean, it's good against 21. If you can establish multiple of these, you have to establish more than one because 21 can bounce 1-drops once per turn. But if you can establish multiple of these against 21, they really can't play their deck. It's good against familial bond strategies like mono red Pan. It's good against Baby to a degree because it prevents them from doing their Mew into 1-drop yellow Baby combo. Graceful Charity, if you guys know about Yu-Gi-Oh! And know that reference. But it's really good against a lot of different scenarios. If you're looking for a random side deck card and you want like a coverall, Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan is probably one of your best bets. Next up, we got Mass Saiyan Mysterious Warrior and Dimensional Banisher Fu. Now, if you're playing just a deck that can afford to play Overwhelm, if you don't rely on sparking, if you don't rely on having a drop area, these cards are awesome. And I feel like both have applications right now. I think Demigra is getting really popular right now. I think Lemon, Lime, Golden Frieza is getting really popular right now. So for those reasons, I think Mass Saiyan is really good. But likewise, of course, Baby's super popular. You also have 21. You also have other decks that are dropping really big boss monsters like Hatchiyak. And for those reasons, Dimensional Banisher Fu is also really good. So what I would do is I would take a look at your deck, whatever deck you're playing right now, and looking for side deck space. I would say, look at your deck. Can it deal with big boss monsters inherently? Then maybe you want to include Mass Saiyan the Mysterious Warrior in your side deck. Can it deal with a lot of wide boards very well in the main deck? Then maybe consider Dimensional Banisher Fu for your side deck. I think that's a pretty good way to look at your deck, kind of feel out the spread, see what your deck's able to do, and then use the sideboard in order to even out those rough patches, those impurities, right? I think that's what you want to be able to do with your sideboard in certain scenarios. And next up, guys, we've got Fu Shrouded in Mystery and Fu the Dark Banisher. So one of the things that people are saying right now is since Baby is so popular, you kind of have to play Hatchiyak in order to hard counter it, even though I don't necessarily think Hatchiyak is an auto win against Baby, but it has a decent shot of putting up a fight. But if you're playing a different deck, if you're playing a deck that's not Baby or not Hatchiyak, you're going to want 2 to 3 copies of one of these cards in your sideboard, because what they do is they're both higher than 7 costs, so they get around Hatchiyack's auto. They allow you to swing multiple times with multiple cards, and both cards are really good in their respective decks. I mean, Fulu Dark Banisher, probably better in something a little bit lower to the ground. Like if you can spam a board and then drop Fulu Dark Banisher, make your opponent start warping cards for blocking, for negating, and then you really just pick at their hand. But likewise, Fu Shroud and Mystery just shuts down all the effects, shuts down the negates, shuts down the super combos, shuts down the blockers. So if your deck can play a little bit of a longer game, play a little bit of defense against Hatchiyack's boss monster, because that is a big 25k swing, they're going to swing at you multiple times throughout the game. If you can get to turn 6, drop Fu Shroud and Mystery, I think you're going to have a really good time. And if you're afraid of Hatchiyack, if you really just don't want to, get drowned out by Hatchiyack, I think one of these cards is really the way to go. But guys, of course, I can't always hit it all in these videos, so make sure to let me know in the comments below what you guys think are really strong sideboard contenders down below. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time.